proceed. I have Ms. Lisa Wetten that's going to testify. She's already ready to continue.
Your full name, please. No?
Lisa Ann May Wetten.
Do you have any objection against taking an oath?
I don't.
You say that the evidence you are about to give will be nothing else but the truth. And if so, would you please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
I do, so help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to find out if it's necessary for us to go through all her expertise, or can we accept her CV as been handed in volume 5, the continuation of volume 5, pages 862 to 867, or must the witness go through all her expertise?
I think the question is directed to Advocate Kakani.
I think they can continue. We don't have to read this. I think everyone knows it. I think we won't take it to you guys. I think we can continue to the substance.
Thank you. Just noted.
Let me take it.
Chair, then we can go to page 897 of volume 5, the continuation of volume 5. That is the summary of evidence.
Chair. Oh, now it works. I thought my mic wasn't working. It's not working.
I see they are busy trying to fix the sound. It looks like the sound is now better. They gave me the thumbs up. Thank you, Ms. Wetten. So you don't have to go through all your expertise and your qualifications. Maybe we should just start at how you received this brief and what was the mandate for you preparing a report for this tribunal?
Well, I was contacted by yourself as the evidence leader to go through the record, and in order to give an opinion as to the nature of the relations and was there a power asymmetry or a power imbalance between the two parties. And given my experience in sexual harassment, to just go through what I had observed through the record that was given to me.
Maybe just give us a short summary of why your expertise are relevant and which makes you an expert to provide this opinion in this tribunal where we are dealing with a sexual harassment matter.
Certainly. So between 1996 and 1998, I worked for the Sexual Harassment Education Project. And our work specifically was with COSATU and its various affiliates in terms of educating around sexual harassment. And at that point in time, SHEP was also working with COSATU to develop the then Code of Good Practice on the Handling of Sexual Harassment Matters. Thereafter, as a basis of that experience, I offered expert testimony and some disciplinary inquiries. But most recently, in 2017, I was appointed the technical assistant to what was then the Higher Education AIDS Project to develop the first draft of the policy around gender-based violence, including sexual harassment and other forms of violence in post-school education and training facilities. So I developed the first draft of that, which was then handed over to the Department of Higher Education and Training. And then, obviously, it then went through the various consultation processes in government, and it became policy in 2020. I also sat on the ministerial task team appointed by Dr. Naledi Pandor when she was still the Minister of Higher Education, and with a range of 11 other people, we assisted her to develop recommendations around looking at how sexual harassment and other forms of gendered violence in higher education was to be addressed. What was the status of policy? How was it being implemented? How could the department assist assist higher education universities to do a better job, essentially? And then in addition to that, over the years, I was also working with the Gender Equity Office at WITS.
Yeah, she can hear you.
How far did you get? Okay. So I also was working with the Gender Equity Office. It has, as part of its work in terms of dealing with sexual harassment and other complaints at WITS, it requires, it also works on a panel system. I would periodically be asked to provide expert testimony in particular cases. And then as a basis on that experience, in roughly 2018, I sat and worked with the organization, didn't have a director, and was responsible for assisting them with case management, assessing cases, whether or not they were ready to be put down for hearing, etc. And then after that experience, I became co-chair of the Gender Equity Advisory Committee at WITS. And as a member of the panel, I sit on disciplinary tribunals and will hear matters, including appeals as well. So with my colleagues, we sit and decide what is the nature of the evidence. Does it actually substantiate a complaint or uphold a complaint? What is the nature of the sanction that should be handed down? Should there be a guilty finding? Or if there's an appeal, what was the nature of the evidence that was brought? Was it adequate? Was the sanction fairly arrived at? Was procedure properly followed? So that kind of work. And in addition to that, I also work on a range of different research projects addressing sexual harassment. So most recently, I've worked with UCT on contract for UNESCO, undertaking research in Cuba, Mexico, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, at 20 different higher education institutions, where we were looking at experiences of sexual harassment and other forms of gendered violence on campus. We've just submitted the report now. And then we've just begun at WITS with permission to do a survey at the university looking at gendered harms. So it's research that is it's an experience that has ranged from educating around what sexual harassment is, providing expert testimony, making assessments on cases, whether they should go to disciplinary inquiries, sitting on panels to determine what has happened, making findings or appeals, and then also undertaking research and also doing some writing and publishing in the area. So I've had a piece published this year, for example, in the South African Journal on Human Rights.
Thank you. What method did you use to evaluate the interactions between, or let me first ask you this. What material did you have available that you used as the raw data to come to your conclusions in this matter, to give us your expert opinion?
I had the text of WhatsApp messages from the 8th of June until a date in, let me just double check, until February 2022. So I had a set of WhatsApp messages, which amounted to approximately 47 conversations. There was reference to other videos and other material, but I didn't have access to that, so I worked specifically with the WhatsApps here. And I also looked particular at
We have a problem with the sound. I don't know if it's going to have an effect on the transcriptions. And I think this evidence is crucial. I don't know if we should just adjourn so that they can try and fix the sound.
Because actually, it doesn't sound like the sounds are coming through very well.
No. And then
And,
it will not be able, the transcribers won't be able to type it. And we struggle to follow.
You suggest we adjourn?
Just so that the sound text can sort out the sound for us.
Will adjourn, you let us know.
We'll do so.